lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news. Today the 29th of July in the year 2026. Let's now take a look at the news headlines. ECZ receives first batch of 2026 election ballot papers. TIZ pledges stronger fight against corruption under new leadership. FDD blames UPND for MAIZE storage crisis, promises overhaul if elected. In international news, DR Congo court approves referendum law, fueling third-term debate. In sports, BANDA fires Zambia to 6-0 rout of Egypt with 4-goal masterclass. Join us for these and many more stories after the break.
Every celebration, there's a simple choice being made. To belong, count me in. In moments of love and promises for tomorrow, count me in. At the checkout line, in the middle of an ordinary day, a reminder that every number matters. Count me in. Across our communities, our streets, the same message finds us. Count me in. From the everyday worker to the hands shaping our future every day, the call is the same. Count me in. Around the traditions that bring us together, the message becomes impossible to ignore. Count me in.
This election season, your vote counts. Get your NRC and voters card ready.
Count me in.
Decades, Zambia has searched for its promise. Through triumph, sacrifice, and difficult seasons. Many promised change, many spoke of hope, but the burden remained heavy. And then, a servant of the people stepped forward. Not perfect, not a magician, but a man willing to lead his people through the wilderness toward
YouTube and on the Kenstream app. With the main news in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. The first consignment of ballot papers for Zambia's 2026 general election arrived at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport in Lusaka at about 9 hours today, after being flown in from Dubai, marking a key milestone in preparations for the August 13 polls. The Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ received the ballot papers following a revised flight schedule after the original delivery date was delayed because of operational changes by the charter airline. Political parties, civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, and members of the media were invited to witness the arrival of the sensitive election materials as part of the Commission's transparency measures. The ballot papers were printed by Al Ghurair Printing and Publishing Company in Dubai under the supervision of ECZ officials and representatives of participating political parties before being transported to Zambia. The Commission is expected to begin the verification of the ballot papers at its Silverest warehouse, where accredited stakeholders will inspect the materials before they are distributed across the country for polling day. The arrival of the first consignment comes as Zambia intensifies preparations for the 2026 general election, with the ECZ maintaining that it remains committed to conducting a transparent, inclusive, and credible electoral process. Transparency International Zambia (TIZ) has pledged to intensify its fight against corruption and strengthen good governance following the election of Professor Lewis Chilufya as the organization's new chapter president and chairperson of the board of directors. Executive Director Maurice Kenyambe said TIZ remains firmly committed to combating corruption and promoting accountability across all levels of society, adding that the organization would pursue its mandate with renewed energy under the new leadership. Professor Chilufya was elected during TIZ's 23rd annual general meeting held on July 24, 2026, succeeding Mrs. Priscilla Chansa, whose tenure as chapter president has come to an end. A senior university academic and associate professor of international relations, Professor Chilufya specializes in ethics and international relations. He brings extensive academic and governance experience to the role, having earned postgraduate qualifications from institutes in the United States, Italy, and the United Kingdom. The organization also elected a new board to serve a 3-year term. Ms. Martha Sichone was elected chapter vice president. Ms. Jessica Sompola became treasurer, while Mr. Charles Chulu, Professor Simkanga, Ms. Martha Mkosa, and Ms. Janet Mundando were elected as board members. Mr. Nyambe paid tribute to outgoing chapter president, Mrs. Chansa, and her team for advancing the anti-corruption and good governance agenda during their tenure. He thanked them for their strategic leadership and wished them well in their future endeavors.
TIZ wishes to officially announce the election of Professor Lewis Chilufya as its new chapter president and chairperson of the board of directors. Now, Professor Chilufya is a long-serving member of TIZ and was elected during the 23rd annual general meeting of TIZ, which was held on Friday, the 24th of July, 2026. He, of course, takes over from Mrs. Priscilla Chansa, whose 3-year tenure has come to an end. Now, Professor Chilufya is a senior university academic and an associate professor of international relations with a specialization in ethics and international relations. He holds a PhD fellowship in U.S. foreign policy from Bard College in New York, but also holds a PhD in the ethics of interstate armed conflicts, among others. And are also elected to the new TIZ board, which will serve for the next 3 years, where Ms. Martha Sichone as a chapter vice president, Ms. Jessica Sompola as a treasurer, and Mr. Charles Chulu, Professor Stephen Simkanga, Ms. Martha Mkosa, and Ms. Janet Mundando, all as board members. Now, in this same vein, we also wish to pay special tribute to Mrs. Chansa and her outgoing team for the tremendous contributions that they have made to the anti-corruption and good governance agenda during their tenure. We are indeed indebted to them for the strategic leadership that they provided, and we can only wish them well in their endeavors. Lastly, we wish to assure all our stakeholders that the TIZ is resolved to fight corruption and to advocate for good governance at all levels of society has never been greater, and even under the new leadership, we will continue to advance these causes with even more vigor.
The Forum for Democracy and Development, FDD, has accused the UPND government of mismanaging Zambia's maize marketing system, claiming poor planning and inadequate storage facilities have left grain rotting in satellite depots while delaying this season's maize purchases. In a statement issued by Information and Publicity Secretary Caesar Liteta, the opposition party said the Food Reserve Agency, FRA, has struggled to begin buying maize in several areas because existing storage facilities remain full of unsold grain from the previous season. The FDD alleged that maize has been exposed to rain in some rural satellite depots, raising fears that part of the country's grain stocks could be destroyed due to poor storage and a lack of effective marketing strategies. The party said farmers in affected areas have complained about delayed payments, low maize prices, and uncertainty over where to deliver their produce despite the announcement of this year's maize floor price. FDD cited FRA's Lupuka satellite depot in Masaiti district as one example where maize purchases have reportedly failed to start because of insufficient storage space. The party said farmers have instead been directed to deliver their maize to the Mpumpule zonal facility through an appointment system due to congestion at the depot.
The UPND government has failed to properly handle and manage maize marketing every season under their tenure of office. The maize stocks from last season is likely to be destroyed due to lack of proper management, storage, and marketing strategies in our agriculture sector. There are no measures in place to safeguard our produce from possible and unforeseen calamities due to climate change impact. In some satellite depots, maize is now rotting, having been exposed to rains under the poor satellite depot storage facilities in rural areas. Lack of enough and good storage facilities is making it difficult for the FRA to commence purchases in some areas, even though the maize floor price has already been announced. The FDD has spoken to some of the farmers from affected areas who have since expressed shock at the manner the UPND and the FRA have continued to poorly handle every maize marketing season. It has always been either for getting paid after months of waiting, and now seemingly they have no money budgeted for the exercise. We now have the challenge of not having enough storage facilities and are wondering where the new harvest is going to be stocked when the previous stock is still marooned at the satellite depots. Our farmers are now being asked to construct open storage platforms, and that if they didn't, they will have nowhere to sell their maize from. Is it the duty of the poor farmer to construct storage facilities for the FRA? The FRA in Masaiti area at Rupuka Satellite Depot, for instance, have failed to commence the maize purchasing exercise due to lack of storage space, forcing farmers to deliver their produce to another zonal facility in Mpumpule area instead.
Organized People's Party OPP President Dr. Brian Mushimba has pledged to prioritize local processing of Zambia's raw materials, saying value addition is key to creating jobs and accelerating economic growth. Speaking on the party's economic vision, Dr. Mushimba said Zambia must abandon its long-standing dependency on exporting raw materials and instead build industries that manufacture finished products locally. Dr. Mushimba argued that Zambia's natural resources alone cannot guarantee prosperity as the country owns its means of production and transforms its raw materials into higher value products. He said the country's mining and agricultural sectors provide sufficient raw materials to support factories capable of processing copper, maize, and other commodities into finished products. Dr. Mushimba also reflected on Zambia's industrial history, saying the UNIP government established key industries, but many collapsed following privatization during the MMD era, leading to increased foreign ownership of the economy. He said the OPP has assembled experienced professionals capable of driving an industrial transformation that would deliver jobs and economic opportunities.
Yes, the biggest reset that's going to happen under the OPP administration is the revival of the economy through the agricultural revolution and industrialization. Under industrialization, we are cognizant of the fact that when you export raw materials, you're exporting jobs. We don't want to export raw materials under our administration. Everything that we mine or we grow is going to be fully processed or semi-processed before we export. That means we create jobs right here. They are sustainable jobs. They are good paying jobs. We want a government that goes back into strategic sectors of the economy and starts working with the people, organizing its citizens, building capacity in its citizens, financing activities with citizens, so that we build enough capacity and at some time in our lifetime, citizens can now own their own economy. We are tired of the economy being in the hands of foreigners.
We now take our first set of commercials, but do join us for more news when we come back. Do stay tuned.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Television, not just another channel.
It's morning again in Zambia. Today, millions of our children will go to school more than ever before in the history of our country because free education is opening doors that were once closed. Today, with over 40 million kwacha to spend, communities will build clinics, improve schools, drill boreholes, and transform lives using the increased CDF. Men and women will walk through markets and stations freely, without fear or intimidation from cadres. But the journey is not over, and we still have more work to do.
We've started the change. Now let's finish the job. On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia. And let us continue to move Zambia forward together.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Voting is one of the few moments where we all have a voice.
One person, one vote.
No titles, no status.
Just a choice.
It's not about doing nothing.
It's about showing up.
Because your vote matters.
It's easy.
It's important.
It's ours.
Count me in.
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 Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Welcome back. We continue with the main news. Independent aspiring Kabwata Member of Parliament, Maindas Mata, has pledged to deliver 25 solar-powered boreholes within his first 100 days in office if elected, saying the project will tackle persistent water shortages across the constituency. Mr. Smata said access to clean water was a basic human right and not a luxury, adding that his administration would prioritize communities that continue to struggle with unreliable water supplies. He said the planned boreholes would benefit residents in Chilenje, Ja Compound and Divala South, where many households face ongoing challenges accessing clean and reliable water. Mr. Smata said he had successfully implemented similar projects while serving as Kamwala Ward 5 councillor and would build on that experience to improve water access across Kabwata. The independent candidate said the borehole program forms part of his 10-point manifesto, which also promises improved road infrastructure, construction of recreational facilities, and a merit-based system for allocating Constituency Development Fund (CDF) loans. Mr. Smarter said he wanted to ensure development initiatives benefited all residents fairly, regardless of political affiliation, while focusing on practical solutions to the constituency's most pressing needs.
I'd like to assure the people of Kawata constituency that under my program for the development of the constituency, I have a 10-point program which includes sinking of 25 solar-powered boreholes in the constituency. That is 5 per ward. Since we've got 5 wards, so it will be 25 solar-powered boreholes. The reason is that we want to deal with the persistent water problem that has beset many places in the constituency. One of them includes Chilenje, the other ones is Kamwala South, parts of Libala and Kamlanga. So this program is something that I worked on when I was Kamwala Ward Councillor. We sank about 4 solar-powered boreholes, which brought relief to the people of Kamwala South, who now have got easier access to clean water for domestic use. So we want to extend this project of sinking solar-powered boreholes to the rest of the vulnerable communities within Kabata's constituency, including parts of Lilai, Gondwe compound, so that our people can have access to water. Water is a human right and is not a luxury. It shouldn't be a luxury. So I intend to work on that when the people of Kabata constituency give me an opportunity to serve them as their MP.
ZESCO has expressed concern over the growing involvement of young people, including juveniles, in the theft and vandalism of electricity infrastructure following recent convictions in Ndola and Mbulungu. The power utility says the trend threatens public safety, disrupts electricity supply and diverts resources that could otherwise improve service delivery. In Ndola, Hastings Chisha Sakala, age 25, and Chadrick Sakala, age 21, were sentenced to 12 months imprisonment with hard labor after pleading guilty to stealing 2 transformer channels worth 4,548 kwacha. The equipment had been stored at a farm for safekeeping after a transformer was vandalized, but it was never recovered. In a separate case, 2 juveniles aged 16 and 17 in Mpulungu were convicted of malicious damage to property and theft after they were caught cutting a service cable valued at 1,280 kwacha in Muzabwela compound. The cable was recovered and the court placed both juveniles on 6 months probation. ZESCO Senior Manager for Security North, Frazier Mlebwente, described the cases as deeply worrying, warning that electricity infrastructure crimes expose young offenders to prosecution, electrocution, serious injury and death while jeopardizing their futures. He said the theft of cables and transformer components interrupts electricity supply to homes, schools, health facilities and businesses, adding that replacing stolen or vandalized equipment redirects resources meant for expanding electricity access, maintaining the network and improving power supply. ZESCO has appealed to parents, schools, communities and traditional leaders to educate young people about the dangers and consequences of vandalizing electricity infrastructure. The utility also urged members of the public to report suspicious activities to a Zambia Police Service or the nearest ZESCO office. President Hakainde Hichilema will undertake a 2-day working visit to Western Province from July 30 to 31, 2026 to engage communities and assess the implementation of government development programs. Western Province Permanent Secretary Simomo Akapelwa said the president will begin the tour of Thursday by visiting Mulobezi, Mwandi, Sesheke and Limulunga districts, where he is expected to hold community meetings and attend other official engagements. Mr. Kapelwa said the president will continue the visit on Friday with stops in Shangombo, Sioma, Senanga and Nalolo districts. He said the working visit aims to strengthen the government's engagement with citizens, monitor ongoing development projects and accelerate development across Western Province. Mr. Kapelwa called on residents in the 8 districts to turn out in large numbers to welcome the president and participate in the scheduled activities. He also urged members of the public to conduct themselves in a peaceful and lawful manner throughout the visit to ensure all activities proceed successfully.
To inform the public through you that the Republican President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, is coming to the Western Province on phase 2 of his community engagements. And during the phase 1, he visited the northern districts. This province has 16 districts. He visited 8 of the districts. On this phase, this round, is visiting the remaining 8. The President's itinerary is as follows. He will arrive on the 30th, which is tomorrow. My appeal is that in the districts we have mentioned, we come in big numbers. We come and thank the President for the peace we have continued to enjoy under his leadership, under the policies of the UPND New Dawn government. So come in numbers to welcome, to thank the government for the many developmental projects we have seen over the last 5 years. The press in Western Province has been very professional reporting. I encourage that you continue the balanced coverage of the events. So far you have done very well. And because you have done well, we have the peace. Because sometimes misreporting can bring misunderstandings and unnecessary violence.
We go for our second and final set of commercials, but do join us for international and sports news when we come back. Do stay tuned.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbanda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Alini boss. Before 2022, millions of Zambian children stayed home because school was unaffordable for many families. Today, things are much better. No more tuition fees, no more PTA fees, and no more examination fees. More than 2.5 million children are back in class across the country. Schools are feeding our children and classrooms are full again. And with the Enhanced Constituency Development Fund, more classrooms are being built, more desks are being made, more teachers are being hired. Because Bali cares. He has delivered this for all children across Zambia. Because free education is not just a policy. It is a promise to every Zambian child. A promise that poverty will not decide their future. A promise delivered. On the 13th of August 2026, vote for Hakainde Hichilema as President of the Republic of Zambia. And let's continue to move Zambia forward together.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
In every celebration, there's a simple choice being made. To belong, count me in. In moments of love and promises for tomorrow, count me in. At the checkout line, in the middle of an ordinary day, a reminder that every number matters. Count me in. Across our communities, our streets, the same message finds us. Count me in. From the everyday worker to the hands shaping our future every day, the call is the same. Count me in. And around the traditions that bring us together, the message becomes impossible to ignore. Count me in. This election season, your vote counts. Get your NRC and voters card ready. Count me in.
Welcome back to the Camnet News Desk, and now in international news. The Democratic Republic of Congo's Constitutional Court has approved a controversial referendum law that critics say could pave the way for President Felix Tshisekedi to seek a third term in office. In a ruling announced on state television, the court said the proposed legislation complies with the Constitution. The law would allow the president to amend the Constitution through a constituent assembly, followed by a referendum in the event of what it described as a major dysfunction of state institutions. However, the judges raised concerns over provisions that would have allowed the president to call a referendum on any issue considered to be of fundamental importance. The bill was passed by Parliament in June, where President holds a comfortable majority. It now, under the current constitution, the president is limited to 2 5-year terms, with Mr. Tshisekedi's second and final mandate due to end in 2028. The Constitution also states that presidential term limits cannot be revised. Although Mr. Tshisekedi has repeatedly denied seeking a third term, he said in May that he would accept another mandate if requested by the Congolese people. Here's a roundup of international stories courtesy of Africa News.
The Democratic Republic of Congo's Constitutional Court has approved a controversial referendum law that critics say could pave the way for President Felix Tshisekedi to seek a third term in office. In a ruling announced on a state television, the court said the proposed legislation complies with the Constitution. The law would allow the president to amend the Constitution through a constituent assembly, followed by a referendum in the event of what it described as a major dysfunction of state institution. However, the judges raised concerns over provisions that would have allowed the president to call a referendum on any issue considered to be of fundamental importance. The opposition has strongly criticized the referendum, arguing that it could undermine constitutional safeguards. The debate comes as the country faces mounting security challenges in the east and
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with US President Donald Trump on Tuesday, their first meeting since the start of the Iran war 5 months ago. The closed-door talks at the White House came as the two leaders sought to smooth over public disagreements over ceasefire negotiations with Iran.
One of the best meetings that we've had, and I always hate to disappoint our would-be critics who are trying to find, cracks in our alliance, and what they find, like today, is a wall of granite, because the president is so clear. I mean, we have a common commitment. We don't want to see this fanatic regime in Tehran have nuclear weapons to threaten every American and to threaten the peace of the world and to threaten the existence of Israel. So we have a common goal, and it's going to be achieved either through diplomatic means or other means, but we're both committed to that. And that's the main headline that I would tell you from this meeting.
Both Trump and Netanyahu are facing electoral tests later this year, national elections in Israel and midterm polls. Haitian nationals in the United States are living under the shadow of deportation. The Supreme Court last month allowed the Trump administration to end their temporary protected status. Here in New Orleans, the community is also bracing for their departure, fearing the loss of an integral part of the city's history and culture.
There's dishes like red beans and gumbo that are not only popularized here, they're also popularized in Haiti. And then things go on from the architecture, food, music, everything, all in between. And that's really highly because New Orleans and Haiti have been kind of growing symbiotically together.
Haitian immigrants first came to Louisiana in the 1800s, fleeing revolution. From shotgun houses to red beans and rice, their presence can be felt across the city.
I think it poses a national challenge to us as a city with an opportunity to stand up for the diverse immigrant character of our city and of the United States as being legitimate and to not be swept aside in the interests of some short-term political concerns.
New Orleans still honors the memory of the enslaved people brought against their will from Africa. Now the city's residents will have to watch their Haitian friends and neighbors forced to leave.
And finally, in sports news this evening, the Copper Queens produced a dominant performance to thrash Egypt 6-0 in their Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON match, with captain BARBRA BANDA scoring 4 goals and earning the Player of the Match award. Zambia took control in the first half after Rachel Nachula converted a penalty in the 24th minute. The sport kick came after Banda was fouled inside the penalty area, giving the Copper Queens a deserved lead before the break. The hosts returned for the second half with renewed intensity as Banda took center stage. She converted a penalty in the 59th minute after a VAR review awarded Zambia another sport kick before adding her second from open play just 3 minutes later following a well-worked team move. Banda completed a hat-trick in the 86th minute before sealing a memorable performance with her 4th goal deep into stoppage time to make it 6-0. Substitute NLS Piri also made an immediate impact on her WAFCON debut, scoring from long range in added time after injecting energy into Zambia's attack following her introduction in the 63rd minute. Coach Nora rotated her squad during the second half, handing WAFCON debuts to NLS Piri and Salia Mwanza, while also introducing Everine Katongo, Margaret Gondwe and Xiomara Mapepa. Before the second half kicked off, the Copper Queens paid tribute to late former coach Bruce Mwape by displaying a shirt bearing his portrait. The emphatic victory highlighted Zambia's attacking strength and defensive discipline, with the Copper Queens keeping a clean sheet while overwhelming Egypt throughout the contest. Captain BARBRA BANDA's 4-goal display capped a memorable afternoon as Zambia cruised to one of their biggest wins of the tournament.
More and more goals. Everine is the one who scored the 5th goal for Zambia, and what a great goal. Firi is the one who scored the goal. The hat-trick from BARBRA BANDA, the captain, and the 5th gun. We have substitution in the Egyptian side as Nada left the pitch after an injury. more and more goals. Elis Perin is the one who scored the 5th goal for.
We can only say congratulations to the Copper Queens for that emphatic victory. And that sporting item brings us to the end of this edition of Main News on Camnet TV. But before we go, we'll take a recap of stories that made headlines. ECZ receives first batch of 2026 election ballot papers. TIZ played a stronger fight against corruption under new leadership. FDD blames UPND for maize storage crisis, promises overhaul if elected. In international news, DR Congo court approves referendum law, fueling third-term debate. In sports, BANDA fires Zambia to 6 new ROUT of Egypt with 4-goal masterclass. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 12. It reads, "Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer." That ends the Bible reading, and that concludes this edition of Main News on Camnet TV. But dear viewer, like always, do remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Now showing on Topstar channel 106, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on the Mainstream app. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Good evening and God bless.